Welcome to the Oracle's Rest, a place where stories unfold slowly, where time softens, and where the mind is free to wander. Tonight, we travel into the ancient rainforests of Central America, to the world of the Maya civilization. A civilization of towering stone cities, astronomers, mathematicians, scribes, rulers, temples, and vast calendars that attempted to measure the movement of time itself. For centuries, the Maya built great ceremonial centers beneath tropical skies, watching the stars carefully, tracking planets, recording eclipses, and constructing immense pyramids that still rise above the jungle today. Even now, many ancient Maya cities remain partially hidden beneath dense rainforest, wrapped in vines, silence, and mist. Stone staircases disappear into vegetation. Temple roofs emerge through trees. Old plazas lie quietly beneath centuries of fallen leaves. The jungle slowly reclaimed much of the civilization, but not its mystery. The Maya civilization developed across regions that now include southern Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, Honduras, and El Salvador. This area contained many different environments: dense rainforest, mountain highlands, coastal regions, dry limestone plains. And despite these varied landscapes, Maya culture expanded across enormous distances over thousands of years. The civilization did not exist as one single empire ruled by a single king. Instead, the Maya world was made up of many independent city-states. Each city had its own rulers, alliances, rivalries, traditions, and periods of power. Cities rose, cities declined, new centers emerged. And throughout all of it, the Maya maintained remarkably advanced systems of knowledge, architecture, writing, astronomy, and mathematics. The earliest roots of Maya civilization began developing more than 3,000 years ago, long before many famous European kingdoms existed, long before modern nations formed. Communities in the region gradually developed agriculture, trade systems, religious traditions, and ceremonial architecture. Maize, or corn, became especially important in many Maya traditions. Maize was not simply food. It became deeply sacred. Some Maya creation stories even described humans as being formed from maize dough by divine beings. The crop sustained life physically and eventually became tied to identity, spirituality, and cosmic order itself. Daily life in the Maya world depended heavily upon agriculture. Farmers cultivated maize, beans, squash, chili peppers, cacao, avocados, and many other crops adapted to local climates. Because large portions of the region contained dense rainforest, farming required extensive environmental knowledge. People developed techniques for managing difficult soil conditions and seasonal rainfall. Terraces, raised fields, irrigation systems, and forest management practices helped sustain large populations over time. Modern archaeologists increasingly recognize that the Maya shaped their environment in highly sophisticated ways. The rainforest surrounding ancient cities was not untouched wilderness alone. Much of it had been carefully managed and cultivated for centuries. And deep within these tropical landscapes, enormous cities slowly emerged. Some Maya cities contained tens of thousands of people. Massive pyramids rose above plazas. Stone causeways connected ceremonial areas. Observatories aligned with celestial events. Ball courts hosted ritual games. Temples stood painted in vivid colors, now mostly faded away by time. Modern visitors often imagine ancient ruins as bare gray stone. But originally, many Maya cities were alive with color. Red pigments, blue paint, white limestone facades reflecting sunlight brightly beneath the tropical sky. The cities would have felt vibrant, crowded, ceremonial, and full of movement. At dawn, mist sometimes drifted through the jungle canopy surrounding these cities. Bird calls echoed through humid air. Smoke from cooking fires rose slowly into the morning light. People crossed plazas carrying goods, tools, woven textiles, pottery, and food. Scribes prepared bark paper codices filled with glyphs and astronomical calculations. Priests observed celestial movement. Artisans carved intricate stone reliefs into temple walls. And above everything, the pyramids watched silently over the city. The Maya became extraordinary builders. Despite lacking many technologies commonly associated with large civilizations elsewhere, they did not use metal tools extensively for construction. They did not use wheeled transport for large-scale hauling. There were no horses or oxen pulling massive carts. And yet, they built monumental architecture across difficult jungle terrain using human labor, engineering skill, planning, and organization developed over centuries. Some pyramids rose over 200 feet into the air. Stone blocks weighing enormous amounts were moved and assembled with remarkable precision. Even today, archaeologists continue studying exactly how some construction projects were accomplished. The Maya also developed one of the most sophisticated writing systems in the ancient Americas. Their glyphs combine symbols representing sounds, words, concepts, rulers, dates, and historical events. For many years, Scholars could not fully decipher Maya writing. The symbols remained mysterious. But over time, researchers gradually unlocked the system, and once the glyphs could be read more clearly, ancient Maya history began speaking again across centuries of silence. Kings described wars. Astronomers recorded celestial cycles. Rulers celebrated victories. Cities documented alliances and ceremonies. The civilization slowly regained its voice. One of the most remarkable aspects of Maya culture was their relationship with time. The Maya tracked cycles with astonishing precision. Days, months, planetary movement, solar years, sacred calendars, long chronological counts stretching across immense spans of history. Time was not viewed simply as numbers passing mechanically. Time itself carried spiritual and cosmic significance. Different days possessed different symbolic associations. Astronomy, ritual, governance, and religion all became interconnected through cyclical understanding of time. This deep relationship with cosmic rhythm shaped much of Maya civilization. And perhaps this fascination with time emerged naturally from the environment itself. The jungle changes constantly. Rainy seasons arrive and disappear. Vegetation grows rapidly. Floods reshape landscapes. Stars rotate predictably overhead, while human lives remain temporary beneath them. Ancient Maya astronomers watched these repeating cycles carefully, night after night. Venus appeared and vanished. Eclipses interrupted daylight suddenly. Constellations shifted with the seasons. The heavens moved with remarkable consistency, while human generations came and went below. As darkness fell across Maya cities, temple fires flickered against stone walls. The sounds of insects filled the warm night air. Above the pyramids, countless stars stretched across the sky, untouched by modern artificial light. Priests and astronomers climbed staircases toward observatories and temple platforms, watching celestial movement carefully. Recording patterns, searching for order within the cosmos. And beneath those same stars tonight, centuries later, the ancient Maya world still lingers quietly within ruined cities. Jungle mist, forgotten glyphs, and silent stone temples slowly resting beneath the trees. As Maya civilization continued developing, astronomy became one of its most remarkable intellectual achievements. The Maya observed the sky with extraordinary patience and precision. Night after night, generation after generation, astronomers tracked the movement of stars, planets, eclipses, and seasonal cycles across the heavens. And unlike many modern people surrounded by artificial light, the ancient Maya lived beneath intensely visible night skies. The Milky Way stretched clearly overhead. Constellations shifted with the seasons. Venus appeared brilliantly before sunrise and after sunset. Meteor showers crossed the darkness unexpectedly. The heavens were not distant abstractions. They were deeply present within daily life. Among all celestial objects, Venus became especially important to the Maya. The planet's movements were tracked with astonishing accuracy. Maya astronomers carefully recorded Venus cycles over long periods of time, calculating its appearances and disappearances with remarkable precision. Certain ceremonies, political events, and warfare decisions were sometimes connected symbolically to Venus's position in the sky. To the Maya, astronomy was not separate from religion, governance, or timekeeping. The cosmos itself formed part of a larger sacred order. The Maya also became highly skilled mathematicians. One of their most remarkable achievements was the development of a sophisticated numerical system that included the concept of zero. This was an extraordinary intellectual breakthrough. Many ancient civilizations developed advanced mathematics, but the explicit use of zero as a placeholder and numerical concept emerged independently in only a few places in human history. The Maya accomplished this centuries before zero became widely used in Europe. And this mathematical sophistication allowed them to create highly accurate calendar systems tied closely to astronomy and ritual cycles. The Maya used multiple calendars simultaneously. One system tracked the solar year, another tracked sacred ceremonial cycles, and a much larger system known today as the long count measured immense spans of time extending across centuries. These calendars interlocked through repeating cycles. Time itself was viewed not as purely linear, but deeply cyclical. Days carried symbolic meaning. Certain dates were believed to possess spiritual significance. The movement of time reflected cosmic order rather than mere numerical progression. This cyclical understanding of time shaped much of Maya thought. Modern industrial societies often experience time mechanically. Minutes, schedules, deadlines, clocks. But many ancient cultures, including the Maya, understood time through recurring natural rhythms. Rainy seasons returned. Stars returned. Agricultural cycles returned. Generations passed while cosmic patterns continued overhead. The universe appeared rhythmic rather than purely linear, and perhaps this perspective emerged naturally From close observation of the natural world itself, Maya priests and astronomers often climbed temple staircases to elevated observation points above the jungle canopy. From these heights, they could watch sunrise alignments, planetary movement, lunar cycles, and celestial events unfolding across clear tropical skies. Some Maya structures appear intentionally aligned with astronomical phenomena. Sunlight during solstices illuminated certain temples in precise ways. Architectural orientations reflected celestial observation. Entire ceremonial complexes may have functioned partly as cosmic calendars built from stone. The cities themselves became connected to the sky. One of the most famous Maya sites, Chichen Itza, contains a pyramid often associated with these astronomical alignments. During equinox periods, sunlight and shadow create the appearance of a serpent-like shape descending along the pyramid staircase. Whether viewed primarily as astronomical demonstration, religious symbolism, political theatre, or all three combined, the effect reflects extraordinary planning and observational knowledge. The Maya integrated architecture, mathematics, astronomy, and spirituality together into unified systems of meaning. The night sky also influenced Maya mythology deeply. The heavens were not empty. They were alive with symbolism, gods, cycles, and sacred movement. The cosmos became layered with spiritual significance. Celestial events were interpreted not simply as physical occurrences, but as meaningful patterns connected to earthly life. This worldview was common across many ancient civilizations. Humans naturally projected meaning into the stars, partly because the sky itself felt vast, orderly, mysterious, and eternal compared to fragile human existence below. The Maya also possessed extensive knowledge of eclipses. Solar eclipses especially would have appeared astonishing and terrifying to ancient observers. Daylight suddenly fading, animals reacting strangely, temperature changing unexpectedly, the sky darkening in the middle of ordinary life. For civilizations deeply connected to celestial order, eclipses carried enormous symbolic weight. And through careful observation, the Maya gradually learned to predict some of these events mathematically. The ability to anticipate cosmic disruption likely strengthened the authority of priests and astronomers within society. Knowledge of the heavens became social and political power. Writing played a major role in preserving this astronomical knowledge. Maya scribes recorded calculations and observations inside codices made from bark paper coated with smooth lime plaster. These folded books contained glyphs, numbers, calendars, rituals, and celestial records. Tragically, most Maya codices were later destroyed during the Spanish conquest and colonial period. Only a very small number survived. An immense amount of historical and scientific knowledge disappeared forever. What modern scholars know about Maya astronomy comes partly from surviving inscriptions, archaeological evidence, and the few remaining codices that escaped destruction. And yet, despite these losses, the sophistication of Maya astronomy still astonishes researchers today. Without telescopes, without modern instruments, without electronic calculation, the Maya developed remarkably accurate understanding of celestial cycles through careful, long-term observation alone. Generations watched the sky patiently across centuries. Knowledge accumulated gradually over time. This required not only intelligence, but cultural continuity and disciplined observation sustained across many lifetimes. The jungle itself may have intensified awareness of the sky. Dense rainforest environments often limit distant visibility during the day. But at night, clearings above ceremonial centers opened upward into immense darkness filled with stars. Temple platforms rose above the trees toward open sky. The contrast between enclosed jungle and expansive heavens may have felt emotionally powerful. Below, humid forests alive with insects and hidden animals. Above, silent cosmic order stretching endlessly into darkness. The Maya also connected astronomy closely with agriculture. Seasonal cycles determined planting and harvest timing. Rainfall patterns affected survival. Solar movement influenced calendars and ritual scheduling. Astronomy was not abstract science separated from ordinary life. It directly affected food production, ceremony, governance, and social stability. The heavens guided civilization itself. Modern people sometimes imagine ancient astronomy as primitive compared to modern science, but this misunderstands how sophisticated, sustained observation can become across centuries. The Maya developed complex predictive systems through patience, memory, mathematics, and intergenerational knowledge transfer. Their achievements remind us that advanced thinking did not begin only in the modern world. Human intelligence has existed for a very long time, and perhaps this is part of why ancient Maya cities still feel so haunting today. Because beneath the vines, beneath the ruined temples, beneath the silence of abandoned plazas, there once existed a civilization carefully watching the stars, searching for order in the movement of time, measuring the heavens above the jungle night. While countless generations lived and disappeared beneath the same ancient sky, beyond astronomy and mathematics, daily life inside Maya civilization was highly organized and deeply interconnected with community, trade, religion, and the environment. Ancient Maya cities were not silent ceremonial ruins as they appear today. They were active, crowded, and full of movement. Markets filled with voices, artisans carving stone and jade, families preparing food over cooking fires, children learning traditions from elders, priests performing rituals within temples, farmers carrying goods into city plazas from surrounding agricultural regions. The civilization functioned through enormous networks of labor, knowledge, trade, and cooperation sustained across generations. Markets played an especially important role in Maya society. Archaeological evidence suggests large trade systems connected cities across great distances. People exchanged obsidian, jade, cacao, salt, pottery, feathers, woven textiles, shells, tools, and food. Some materials traveled hundreds of miles through trade routes, moving across jungle paths, rivers, and coastal regions. Obsidian used for blades and ceremonial objects often came from volcanic areas far from many Maya cities. Jade became especially prized because of its beauty and symbolic importance. The material's green color was associated with life, fertility, vegetation, and renewal. Even small jade ornaments carried enormous cultural significance. Cacao also held special importance in Maya civilization. Chocolate, as modern people know, it did not yet exist. But cacao beans were transformed into bitter ceremonial drinks, sometimes mixed with spices or chili. These drinks were often associated with elites, ritual events, and social ceremony. Cacao even functioned as a form of currency in some contexts. A small bean grown in tropical environments became tied to economy, ritual, and status simultaneously. The Maya relationship with cacao reveals how deeply agriculture and symbolism intertwined within ancient societies. Maya cities also contained highly structured social systems. Kings ruled important city-states and often claimed sacred or semi-divine authority connected to cosmic order. Nobles managed administration, warfare, and ritual activity. Priests interpreted calendars and celestial cycles. Scribes recorded history and ceremonial information through glyphs. Artisans produced carved monuments, painted pottery, jewelry, and ceremonial objects. Farmers supported the broader population through agriculture. Like many ancient civilizations, Maya society contained both hierarchy and specialization, developed over long periods of urban growth. The rulers of Maya cities often commissioned enormous monuments to preserve memory and legitimacy. Stone stelae carved with glyphs recorded victories, royal lineages, ceremonies, and important dates. Some monuments described wars between rival city-states. Others celebrated rulers performing sacred rituals linked symbolically to cosmic order. These carvings transformed political power into historical memory, preserved through stone. Even centuries later, archaeologists continue deciphering these inscriptions to reconstruct Maya history piece by piece. Warfare also existed throughout Maya civilization. For many years, some scholars mistakenly imagined the Maya as unusually peaceful compared to other ancient societies. But later discoveries revealed extensive evidence of conflict, alliances, rivalries, fortifications, and warfare between competing city-states. Power shifted repeatedly across centuries. Cities rose to dominance and later declined. Political relationships changed constantly, and like many human civilizations, the Maya world combined remarkable intellectual achievement alongside conflict and struggle. Human complexity remained present even within highly sophisticated societies. At the same time, Maya civilization produced extraordinary artistic achievement. Pottery vessels displayed detailed paintings of mythology, ceremonies, rulers, animals, and daily life. Stone carvings captured intricate symbolic scenes. Murals decorated important structures with vivid imagery. Textiles likely contained rich patterns and colors. Though many organic materials disappeared over time within humid tropical environments, the Maya did not separate art from religion, politics, or identity. Beauty itself became woven into ceremonial and social life. Music and performance also played important cultural roles. Drums, flutes, shell trumpets, rattles, ceremonial dance. Public rituals likely involved coordinated sound, movement, costume, and symbolism designed to reinforce shared belief and political authority. At night, temple ceremonies illuminated by firelight may have felt deeply emotional and immersive for participants gathered within large plazas beneath tropical stars. Ancient cities were sensory worlds full of sound, heat, movement, incense, color, and ritual atmosphere. The Maya also developed one of the most sophisticated systems of symbolic writing in the ancient Americas. Their glyphs combined phonetic elements with symbolic imagery in highly complex ways. Scribes underwent extensive training to master reading and writing. Knowledge itself became specialized and valuable. Writing preserved history, ritual instruction, royal legitimacy, and astronomical calculation. And because literacy remained concentrated among elites and scribes, written knowledge carried enormous authority. The ability to record time and history strengthened political and spiritual power simultaneously. Children growing up within Maya cities likely learned practical skills from very early ages. Agriculture, craftsmanship, food preparation, religious traditions, trade practices, family responsibilities. Knowledge passed through generations not only formally, but through observation and participation in daily life. Like many ancient societies, survival depended heavily on intergenerational teaching and communal memory. The environment itself shaped much of Maya civilization. The tropical rainforest provided beauty and abundance, but also difficulty, heat, humidity, dense vegetation, seasonal storms, limited large rivers in some regions, thin soil conditions. Managing resources successfully required deep ecological understanding developed over centuries. Modern researchers increasingly believe the Maya possessed highly sophisticated environmental knowledge, even if certain regions later faced ecological strain from population pressure and deforestation. The relationship between civilization and environment remained dynamic and fragile. Water held especially important symbolic and practical significance. Certain Maya regions lacked major surface rivers despite heavy seasonal rainfall. As a result, cenotes, natural sinkholes connected to underground freshwater systems, became extremely important. Some cenotes served as water sources. Others became sacred ritual spaces associated with the underworld and spiritual transition. Dark water descending into limestone, depths naturally inspired symbolic meaning. The boundary between physical necessity and sacred interpretation often blurred within Maya culture. The Maya understanding of the cosmos also shaped architecture itself. Temples often rose upward in layered forms, resembling sacred mountains. Staircases ascended toward ceremonial platforms closer to the heavens. Some pyramids symbolically connected the human world with divine realms above and underworld realms below. The city became a kind of cosmic map organized through architecture, astronomy, ritual, and political authority intertwined together. Living inside a Maya city meant living inside symbolic structure as well as physical structure. At night, these cities must have appeared extraordinary. Torchlight flickering against painted stone, temple silhouettes rising above jungle canopy, smoke drifting upward into darkness, priests climbing staircases toward observatories, insects echoing through humid air. And above everything, Immense tropical skies filled with stars moving slowly across the heavens. The ancient Maya world existed in constant relationship with the cosmos overhead. And perhaps this is why the ruins still feel so haunting now, because modern visitors walking through abandoned Maya cities often sense both presence and absence at the same time. The plazas are quiet, the rulers are gone, the ceremonies ended centuries ago, the jungle reclaimed much of the stone, and yet traces of human thought remain everywhere. Glyphs carved into monuments, astronomical alignments preserved in architecture, temple staircases still pointing upward toward the sky, evidence of generations who watched the stars carefully, measured time patiently, and searched for meaning beneath the jungle night. Religion and cosmology shaped nearly every aspect of Maya civilization. To the Maya, the universe was not random or empty. It was alive with gods, cycles, sacred forces, and layered realms connected together through time and ritual. The cosmos itself contained structure and meaning. Above the human world existed celestial realms associated with gods, stars, and cosmic movement. Below existed the underworld, often called Xibalba in later Maya traditions, a mysterious realm connected with death, transformation, darkness, sacrifice, and spiritual testing. Between these realms stood the human world itself, a temporary space suspended between heavens above and underworld below. This layered understanding of reality appeared repeatedly in Maya art and architecture. Temple pyramids symbolically rose upward towards celestial realms. Sacred caves and cenotes descended downward into darkness associated with the underworld. Even certain trees became cosmological symbols. The saber tree, in particular, often represented connection between worlds. Its roots extended downward. Its trunk occupied the human world. Its branches stretched upward toward the heavens. Nature itself became sacred metaphor. The Maya pantheon contained many gods associated with rain, maize, death, fertility, storms, sacrifice, writing, the sun, and celestial movement. Some gods appeared in multiple forms or transformations. Others shifted across centuries and regions. Maya religion was not static. It evolved continuously over long periods of history. And because the Maya world consisted of many independent city-states rather than one unified empire, local traditions and practices often varied. But despite these differences, ritual remained central across Maya civilization. Ceremonies connected human society to cosmic order. Offerings were made to maintain balance between worlds. Priests conducted rituals according to sacred calendars. Bloodletting ceremonies sometimes formed part of elite religious practice. based on the belief that sacrifice and offering sustained divine relationships and cosmic continuity. Modern people often react strongly to these practices, but within the Maya worldview, sacrifice carried symbolic and spiritual meaning tied to survival, fertility, political legitimacy, and sacred obligation. Ancient civilizations frequently understood the relationship between humans and gods very differently than modern secular societies do today. The Maya also believed that rulers possessed important spiritual responsibilities. Kings were not viewed simply as political administrators. They often functioned as intermediaries between worlds. Ceremonies reinforced this sacred authority publicly. Rulers performed rituals meant to maintain cosmic balance and communicate symbolically with divine forces. Political power, religion, astronomy, and ceremony became deeply intertwined. The stability of society itself appeared connected to sacred order. Maya mythology frequently explored cycles of death and rebirth. The agricultural world reinforced these ideas naturally. Maize seeds disappeared beneath soil, then returned again as living plants. Rainy seasons followed dry seasons. The sun disappeared each evening and returned each dawn. Venus vanished and reappeared in predictable cycles. Life itself seemed built from repeating transformation rather than permanent endings. This cyclical understanding influenced Maya spirituality profoundly. Death was often viewed not simply as disappearance, but transition within larger cosmic movement. One of the most important surviving Maya mythological texts is known today as the Popol Vuh, preserved later through colonial transcription of older oral traditions. The text contains creation stories, cosmology, heroic journeys, gods, and symbolic narratives exploring the relationship between humans and the universe. In one section, divine beings attempt multiple times to create humanity successfully. Animals fail to speak properly. Mud humans dissolve. Wooden humans lack understanding and spirit. Finally, humans formed from maize become capable of worship, memory, and awareness. The story reflects how deeply maize and consciousness became linked symbolically within Maya culture. The Popol Vuh also contains stories of the hero twins, mythological figures who descend into the underworld and face trials within Xibalba. These stories involve deception, sacrifice, death, resurrection, and cosmic struggle. Like many mythological traditions across civilizations, Maya mythology explored existential themes through symbolic narrative. Mortality, transformation, chaos, renewal. The relationship between human beings and unseen forces. These stories helped organize meaning within an uncertain world. The underworld itself occupied an important place within Maya belief systems. Xibalba was not merely a place of punishment in the simple sense. It represented mystery, darkness, danger, death, testing, and transformation. Caves often became associated with entrances to underworld realms because they descended into darkness beneath the earth. Natural sinkholes and underground water systems carried similar symbolic power. For people living beside dense jungle landscapes filled with hidden spaces and unknown depths, these environments naturally inspired spiritual interpretation. Darkness itself became sacred and mysterious. The Maya also practiced ritual ball games that carried symbolic and religious significance beyond recreation alone. Large stone ball courts existed within many cities. The games may have represented cosmic struggle, celestial movement, political competition, ritual performance, or mythological themes, depending on context. Some interpretations connect elements of the ball game symbolically to stories within the Popol Vuh. Public ritual, sport, politics, and spirituality often blended together in ancient societies rather than remaining separate categories. Masks played important ceremonial roles as well. Elaborate masks represented gods, rulers, ancestors, animals, or supernatural beings. By wearing masks during rituals, participants symbolically transformed identity. The boundary between human and divine became fluid during ceremony. Costume, dance, music, incense, architecture, and astronomy combined to create immersive, sacred experiences. Ancient rituals likely felt emotionally overwhelming beneath firelit temples and tropical night skies. Death rituals also reveal how deeply the Maya connected existence with cosmic order. Burials often included offerings, ornaments, pottery, jade, and symbolic objects intended to accompany the dead. Some tombs were constructed beneath pyramids or important ceremonial structures. Rulers especially received elaborate burial treatment, reflecting both political authority and spiritual significance. Even in death, identity remained tied to sacred systems of meaning. The Maya understanding of time reinforced these spiritual beliefs continuously. Because time itself was sacred, ritual timing mattered enormously. Specific ceremonies occurred during important calendar cycles. Celestial alignments carried symbolic meaning. The movement of planets and stars became woven into spiritual life. To the Maya, the cosmos was not silent machinery operating pointlessly. It was meaningful order unfolding rhythmically across generations. At night, Maya priests likely climbed temple staircases, carrying torches upward through darkness. Below them, cities rested beneath jungle canopy. Insects echoed through warm, humid air. Smoke drifted slowly from ceremonial fires. And above, the stars continued their endless movement across the heavens, exactly as they had for thousands of years before human civilization existed. The same stars modern people still see today. Venus, rising before dawn, the Milky Way, crossing the darkness, constellations shifting with the seasons, human generations passing beneath ancient celestial cycles. And perhaps this is part of why Maya civilization still feels so mysterious now, because beneath the ruined pyramids, beneath the jungle vines and silence, there once existed a civilization trying to understand the relationship between time, death, nature, gods, and consciousness itself. A civilization searching for meaning beneath the stars, just as humans still do now, thousands of years later, beneath the same endless sky. As centuries passed, some Maya cities grew into enormous centers of political and ceremonial power. Cities like Tikal, Calakmul, Palenque, Copan, and later Chichen Itza became major hubs connected through trade, diplomacy, rivalry, and warfare across the Maya world. Towering pyramids rose above dense rainforest canopy. Stone roads linked ceremonial complexes together. Royal courts managed alliances and conflict. Scribes recorded dynasties stretching across generations. And throughout these cities, life unfolded beneath constant awareness of cosmic cycles and sacred time. Tikal, located deep within the forests of present-day Guatemala, became one of the largest Maya cities ever built. At its height, massive temple pyramids rose dramatically above the jungle canopy. Some structures still stand over 200 feet tall today. From their summits, rulers and priests could look outward across endless rainforest stretching toward the horizon. During sunrise, mist often drifted through the trees below, while tropical birds echoed through the humid morning air. At night, the pyramids stood beneath intensely visible stars, untouched by modern light pollution. The city must have felt both earthly and cosmic at the same time. Palenque developed a different atmosphere. Surrounded by lush forest and flowing water, the city became famous for elegant architecture, detailed carvings, and sophisticated inscriptions. One of its most famous rulers, Pakal the Great, governed during a period of expansion and artistic achievement. His tomb, discovered deep within the Temple of the Inscriptions, contained elaborate carvings and jade funerary objects that revealed both political authority and spiritual symbolism. The discovery astonished archaeologists because it preserved one of the most detailed royal Maya burials ever found. For centuries, the ruler had rested silently beneath the pyramid, while jungle vegetation slowly covered the city above. Copan, located farther south in present-day Honduras, became known for extraordinary sculpture and intricate stone carvings. Its monuments preserve remarkable historical detail through glyphs describing rulers, ceremonies, wars, and dynastic succession. The city's stelae remain among the finest examples of Maya stone artistry ever created. Some carvings appear so detailed and refined that modern researchers still study how ancient artisans achieved such precision using available tools and techniques. The Maya transformed stone into historical memory. But Maya civilization was never completely stable. Rivalries between city-states intensified at different periods. Wars disrupted trade routes. Political alliances shifted repeatedly. Certain cities expanded rapidly while others declined. Power moved across the region over centuries, rather than remaining fixed permanently in one place. This political fragmentation created both cultural diversity and ongoing instability throughout Maya history. Environmental pressures may also have contributed to periods of decline in some regions. Population growth increased demand for food, timber, and water. Deforestation affected local ecosystems. Extended droughts appear to have struck portions of the Maya world during critical historical periods. Modern climate research suggests some droughts may have lasted for many years, placing enormous strain on agricultural systems already supporting large urban populations. And because Maya civilization depended heavily on carefully managed environmental balance, prolonged climate disruption could become devastating. The Maya collapse remains one of the most discussed topics in archaeology. But the word collapse can sometimes oversimplify what actually happened. The Maya people did not suddenly disappear. Instead, many major southern lowland cities gradually declined between roughly the 8th and 10th centuries. Monument construction slowed. Political systems fragmented. Urban populations decreased. Some cities were abandoned. The jungle slowly reclaimed ceremonial centers over time. Yet Maya descendants continued living throughout the region. Languages survived, traditions survived, communities survived. The civilization transformed rather than vanishing completely. Still, abandoned cities created powerful mystery. Imagine enormous stone pyramids slowly being swallowed by rainforest, roots breaking through staircases, trees growing from temple roofs, birds nesting inside ancient ceremonial chambers. Once crowded plazas falling silent beneath vines and fallen leaves. Over generations, entire cities disappeared beneath jungle canopy until outsiders eventually rediscovered them centuries later. The rainforest concealed history patiently. When European explorers and archaeologists later encountered many Maya ruins, the experience often felt surreal. Towering pyramids emerged unexpectedly through dense vegetation. Massive carved monuments stood weathered by centuries of rain and humidity. Ancient glyphs covered walls no one could yet fully read. Entire cities appeared hidden within the jungle like remnants of another world. And because Maya writing remained undeciphered for so long, the civilization acquired an aura of mystery that persisted for generations. Modern archaeology transformed understanding of the Maya dramatically. Airborne LiDAR scanning technology recently revealed enormous networks of structures hidden beneath rainforest canopy invisible from the ground. Road systems, terraces, defensive walls, canals, residential districts, previously unknown cities. The scale of Maya civilization proved even larger and more interconnected than earlier researchers realized. What once seemed isolated ceremonial ruins are now understood as parts of extensive urban landscapes supporting millions of people across centuries. The Maya also remind modern people that advanced civilizations can be both intellectually sophisticated and environmentally vulnerable at the same time. They developed astronomy, mathematics, architecture, writing, and political systems of extraordinary complexity. Yet, even advanced societies remain dependent on ecological balance, water systems, agriculture, climate, and social stability. Human civilization has always existed within fragile relationships between environment, resources, leadership, and cooperation. This pattern repeats across history repeatedly. At the same time, the Maya legacy continues living today through millions of Maya descendants across Central America. Modern Maya communities preserve languages, weaving traditions, spiritual practices, foods, agricultural knowledge, music, and cultural memory stretching across thousands of years. The civilization did not disappear into the past completely. It continues evolving in the present. This is important because ancient civilizations are often discussed as though they belong entirely to history alone. But Maya identity remains alive. Even today, many Maya ruins still create powerful emotional reactions for visitors. People climb ancient staircases surrounded by jungle sounds, stand within silent plazas where ceremonies once filled the air with music and firelight, watch moonlight fall across weathered stone carvings, and above the pyramids, the same stars continue moving across the night sky exactly as they did centuries ago. Venus still rises before dawn. The Milky Way still stretches across tropical darkness. Rainstorms still move through rainforest canopies. Time continues. Civilizations rise and change. Human lives appear briefly and disappear again. Yet the cosmos keeps moving overhead. Perhaps this is why the Maya world feels so haunting and beautiful now, because the ruins preserve evidence of something deeply human, a civilization trying to understand time, trying to understand the stars, trying to connect architecture, ritual, mathematics, nature, and consciousness into meaningful order. And beneath the jungle, silence. That ancient search still lingers quietly inside the stone, waiting beneath vines, rain, darkness, and the endless turning of the heavens above. Even after centuries of research, many mysteries surrounding the Maya civilization remain unresolved. Archaeologists continue uncovering new cities hidden beneath rainforest canopy. Glyphs remain only partially understood in some regions. Trade relationships are still being reconstructed piece by piece, and countless structures likely remain buried beneath vegetation and soil, untouched for hundreds of years. The jungle preserves secrets slowly. This sense of mystery is part of what continues drawing people toward the Maya world, because unlike some ancient civilizations preserved in open desert environments, Maya cities often feel hidden, half reclaimed by nature. Temples emerge through mist and vines. Stone staircases disappear beneath roots. Rain falls across carvings, weathered by centuries of humidity and heat. The rainforest does not preserve ruins cleanly. It absorbs them gradually back into the landscape. Civilization and nature become intertwined together. In many Maya regions, the jungle itself shaped emotional experience. The rainforest is never fully silent. Insects echo constantly through the darkness. Bird calls move through distant canopy. Rain arrives suddenly and intensely. Fog drifts through trees at dawn. Dense vegetation limits visibility and creates shifting patterns of light and shadow. For ancient people living within these environments, nature must have felt deeply alive and unpredictable. The boundary between physical world and spiritual symbolism naturally became porous in such landscapes. Sacred caves especially carried enormous importance. Many Maya caves contain evidence of ritual offerings, pottery, carvings, human remains, and ceremonial activity. Caves represented entrances into underworld realms associated with death, transformation, fertility, water, and spiritual power. Some rituals required descending deep into darkness, carrying torches through narrow underground chambers. The experience itself would have felt overwhelming. Flickering firelight against stone walls, dripping water echoing through enclosed spaces. Complete darkness beyond torchlight. Ancient ceremonies inside caves likely produced powerful emotional and psychological effects for participants. Cenotes held similar significance. These deep natural sinkholes connected to underground water systems became both practical water sources and sacred locations. In some Maya traditions, cenotes were viewed as gateways between worlds. Offerings of jade, pottery, gold, and other ceremonial objects were placed within them. The dark water descending downward into hidden depths naturally inspired spiritual interpretation. Water itself became associated with life, mystery, fertility, and transition. The Maya relationship with nature was therefore not simply practical, it was cosmological. Rainfall affected crops and survival. Storms affected entire cities. The jungle both sustained and threatened human life. Animals carried symbolic meaning. Celestial movement influenced ritual cycles. Humans existed inside larger living systems rather than outside them. This worldview shaped architecture, mythology, agriculture, ceremony, and identity simultaneously. The Maya also observed animals carefully. Jaguars became especially important symbols associated with strength, night, rulership, and the underworld. Birds connected earthly and celestial realms through flight. Serpents appeared repeatedly in mythology and temple imagery. Monkeys became linked with creativity, and scribes in some traditions. Animals were not viewed merely as background elements within nature. They participated symbolically within cosmic order. Ancient societies often interpreted the natural world through layered symbolic meaning because survival depended heavily on close environmental awareness. Time itself remained one of the most central Maya obsessions. The Maya did not merely count days. They embedded time within religion, politics, agriculture, and cosmic understanding. Different cycles overlapped continuously. Solar years, sacred ritual calendars, planetary cycles, dynastic histories. Human life became synchronized with repeating cosmic movement. To modern minds, shaped heavily by clocks and schedules, this worldview can feel very different. But for the Maya, time was alive with symbolic power. This fascination with cyclical time may explain why modern misunderstandings later emerged surrounding the Maya calendar. In popular culture, the end of one Maya calendar cycle became falsely associated with apocalyptic predictions about the year 2012. But most scholars emphasize that Maya calendrical systems were cyclical rather than focused on final endings. Cycles completed and renewed, just as seasons returned, just as Venus disappeared and reappeared. just as maize grew from buried seed. Modern interpretations often projected contemporary anxieties onto ancient symbolic systems that originally carried much more nuanced cosmological meaning. The Maya understanding of the cosmos also required remarkable patience. Astronomical precision cannot emerge quickly. It requires generations of observation. One generation recording data, passing it to the next, who continued watching the sky carefully across decades and centuries. Knowledge accumulated slowly over immense periods of time. This continuity reveals something deeply impressive about Maya civilization. Their achievements were not accidents. They emerged through disciplined cultural memory, sustained across countless human lives. And perhaps this continuity itself became part of meaning. Individual humans lived briefly, but the stars continued moving. Calendars continued cycling. Cities continued evolving. Knowledge continued passing forward across generations. Ancient civilizations often understood the individual as part of larger continuity rather than isolated existence. A person inherited memory from ancestors, then passed memory onward again. This perspective becomes visible in Maya architecture. Many rulers built monuments honoring earlier dynasties. Cities expanded atop older ceremonial foundations. New temples sometimes enclosed older temples within them. The past remained physically embedded inside the present. Civilization layered itself over time like memory, accumulating across generations. Even silence carries unusual emotional weight within Maya ruins today. Modern visitors often describe hearing wind through trees, distant birds, rain falling across stone, insects echoing at dusk, while standing inside plazas once filled with thousands of people. The contrast feels powerful. Civilizations that once appeared permanent became quiet again. Stone endured longer than individual lives. But even stone slowly erodes beneath time and weather. The jungle continues growing, roots continue spreading, rain continues falling. Nature keeps moving patiently around human history. And yet, despite impermanence, the Maya accomplished extraordinary things. They measured celestial cycles with precision, built monumental cities beneath difficult environmental conditions, created advanced mathematical systems, developed writing, produced art of enormous sophistication, maintained complex trade networks, and preserved cultural traditions that still survive today through Maya descendants across Central America. Human civilization is fragile, yet also astonishingly creative. Again and again throughout history, humans transformed difficult environments into centers of knowledge, symbolism, architecture, and meaning. Perhaps this is why ancient civilizations continue fascinating modern people so deeply, because they remind humans that the search for meaning is ancient. Long before modern technology, long before electricity, long before industrial society, people already looked upward at the stars, wondered about death, created stories, measured time, built monuments, and searched for order within existence itself. The Maya were part of that endless human search. Now, the jungle grows darker. Mist drifts slowly between trees. Temple silhouettes rest beneath tropical night skies. Somewhere high above the rainforest canopy, stars continue their silent movement across the heavens, while below, ancient stone staircases disappear quietly into shadow. Beneath vines, rain, memory, and the endless turning of time itself. As the centuries continued passing, the Maya world changed slowly beneath the movement of stars and seasons. Some cities declined while others expanded. Trade routes shifted. Dynasties rose and disappeared. Jungle vegetation reclaimed abandoned plazas while new ceremonial centers emerged elsewhere across the region. Human civilization moved in cycles, much like the cosmic cycles the Maya studied so carefully overhead. And throughout all these changes, ordinary human lives continued unfolding quietly beneath the Great Pyramids. Children were born into cities already ancient before their own lifetimes began. They learned stories from elders beside cooking fires at night, watched ceremonies within crowded plazas illuminated by torchlight, learned planting cycles tied to rainfall and season, observed priests tracking the heavens from temple platforms above the city. For most people living within Maya civilization, the world likely felt stable and eternal. The pyramids had always stood there. The stars always moved overhead. The calendars continued cycling endlessly. Civilizations often feel permanent while people are living inside them. Only later does history reveal how temporary even great societies truly are. At night, Maya cities must have possessed an atmosphere difficult for modern people to fully imagine. No electric light, no engines, no distant traffic, only firelight flickering against painted stone and humid jungle darkness. The sounds of insects rising from surrounding forests. Occasional drums echoing across ceremonial plazas. Smoke drifting upward through warm tropical air. And above everything, an immense sky overflowing with stars, the Milky Way stretching clearly across the heavens, Venus glowing brightly before dawn, meteor showers crossing the darkness unexpectedly. The cosmos would have felt extraordinarily close. Modern people often live beneath light pollution so intense that many stars disappear entirely from view. But ancient civilizations experienced the night sky very differently. Darkness itself was deeper. The heavens appeared brighter and more overwhelming. This constant exposure to celestial movement likely shaped human psychology more strongly than many people realize today. The stars became calendars, stories, navigation systems, spiritual symbols, evidence of cosmic order. Night after night, generation after generation, humans watched the heavens carefully and searched for meaning within them. The Maya became among the greatest sky watchers in human history. And yet, despite all their astronomical precision, the Maya remained human in the same fundamental ways. People remain human now. They feared death, loved family, grieved loss, wondered about existence, searched for beauty, experienced conflict, uncertainty, joy, ambition, memory, and hope. Ancient civilizations sometimes appear distant and abstract when viewed through ruins and artifacts alone. But behind every carved glyph, every pyramid, every astronomical calculation, there were living human minds, people breathing beneath the same sky modern people still see today. A Maya astronomer standing atop a temple platform centuries ago may have experienced emotions surprisingly recognizable now. Wonder beneath the stars, curiosity about time, awe at celestial movement, fear during eclipses or drought, hope for future generations. The details of culture change across history, but consciousness itself remains deeply familiar. This continuity may be one of the strangest things about studying ancient civilizations. The people feel distant, yet emotionally recognizable at the same time. Modern archaeology often focuses heavily on kings, monuments, warfare, and major political events, but most lives inside Maya civilization were ordinary lives. Farmers planting crops beneath humid skies, families preparing meals, children learning language and tradition, artisans shaping pottery and weaving cloth, merchants carrying goods along trade routes through forest paths. The civilization survived not only because of rulers and priests, but because millions of ordinary people sustained it day after day across centuries. Human history is built mostly from ordinary lives, quietly continuing. The Maya relationship with memory also remains fascinating. Stone monuments recorded dynasties and victories. Glyphs preserved dates and ceremonies. Architecture aligned human activity with cosmic cycles. The civilization continuously attempted to anchor itself within larger continuity, against forgetting, against impermanence. Humans have always searched for ways to outlast individual mortality through memory and symbolic permanence. The Maya were no different. And still, eventually, many great cities became quiet. Temples, once crowded with ceremony, stood empty. Staircases cracked beneath roots and rain. Plazas filled with vegetation. Birds nested within abandoned structures. The jungle moved slowly back across stone. Time reclaimed even monumental architecture eventually. This process likely occurred gradually over generations rather than suddenly. A city declining little by little. Population thinning. Maintenance slowing. Ceremonies becoming less frequent. Until eventually, silence settled where thousands of people once gathered beneath the stars. There is something deeply haunting about abandoned cities reclaimed by nature, because they remind humans that civilization itself is temporary. Empires feel permanent while they exist. Yet history repeatedly shows that societies rise, transform, and fade. Ancient Mesopotamia, Egyptian kingdoms, the Roman Empire, the Maya city-states. Human structures emerge for brief moments against the immense scale of time, then change again. The jungle covering Maya ruins became almost symbolic of this truth. Nature continuing patiently after human power faded. And yet, impermanence does not erase meaning. The Maya civilization still influences the world today. Its descendants continue living throughout Central America. Its art survives. Its architecture survives. Its astronomical achievements survive. Its stories survive. Its ruins continue inspiring awe centuries later. Even civilizations that transform or decline leave traces moving forward through time. Human existence ripples outward beyond individual lifespan. The rediscovery of Maya cities by archaeologists and explorers created another strange layer of history. For centuries, some ruins rested hidden beneath dense rainforest canopy, while the outside world knew little about them. Then, gradually, explorers encountered towering stone structures emerging through vines and mist, glyph-covered monuments standing silently among trees, entire ceremonial complexes hidden beneath vegetation. The experience must have felt dreamlike, as though another world had been sleeping quietly beneath the jungle for centuries. Even now, LiDAR scanning technology continues revealing previously unknown Maya structures beneath forests invisible from the ground. Road systems, terraces, pyramids, defensive walls, entire urban landscapes concealed by vegetation. The jungle still hides enormous portions of Maya history. There are likely cities and monuments still waiting beneath the trees, untouched for hundreds of years. This continuing discovery keeps the civilization feeling alive, with mystery even today. The Maya also remind modern people that intelligence and sophistication existed long before modern technology. Without telescopes, computers, engines, or industrial machinery, they tracked celestial cycles precisely, built monumental architecture, developed mathematics, including zero, created writing systems, maintained extensive trade networks, and organized complex urban societies across difficult environmental conditions. Human creativity and intelligence are ancient traits. Modern civilization did not invent them. Perhaps this realization changes how people view the ancient world. The past was not populated by simplistic or primitive minds. Ancient humans loved, feared, imagined, calculated, created art, studied nature, raised families, and searched for meaning just as humans do now. The Maya looked upward at the stars and wondered about existence beneath them. They searched for order within time. They attempted to understand the relationship between humanity and cosmos. And thousands of years later, modern people continue asking many of the same questions. Now, the rainforest grows quieter beneath the night. Warm mist drifts slowly through the trees. Ancient pyramids rest beneath moonlight and shadow. Insects echo softly across abandoned plazas, reclaimed by vines and roots. Above the jungle canopy, Venus still rises before dawn, exactly as Maya astronomers once watched it rise centuries ago. The stars continue their endless movement overhead. The calendars of nature continue turning. Civilizations appear, transform, and fade. Yet the night sky remains. Ancient light crossing immense darkness toward the earth. And here below, human beings continue wandering beneath it, generation after generation, searching softly for meaning among the stars. And perhaps the final mystery of the Maya civilization is not simply how they built their cities, or calculated celestial cycles, or carved monuments from stone beneath the rainforest sky. Perhaps the deeper mystery is how human beings across history repeatedly searched for meaning beneath the vastness of existence itself. The Maya were not alone in this search. Ancient Egyptians looked upward toward the stars along the Nile. Greek philosophers questioned reality beneath Mediterranean skies. Indigenous cultures listened to forests, oceans, deserts, and mountains for signs of deeper order. Again and again, humans turned toward the cosmos and asked the same quiet questions. What is time? What happens after death? Why does consciousness exist? What connects human life to the stars overhead? The Maya searched for these answers in pyramids, calendars, ritual, astronomy, mathematics, mythology, and sacred cycles woven through the natural world. And even now, centuries later, traces of that search remain resting quietly beneath the jungle canopy. The ruins themselves almost feel suspended between worlds, neither fully alive nor completely gone. Stone staircases still rise upward toward open sky. Glyphs still preserve fragments of forgotten voices. Temple walls still catch moonlight after rainstorms pass through the forest. The civilization changed. Cities emptied. Generations disappeared. Yet something remains. An atmosphere. A memory. Evidence that human beings once stood in these places, looking upward into darkness filled with stars, wondering about existence just as people still do now. Modern visitors often describe unusual feelings while walking through Maya ruins. A sense of stillness, scale, distance from ordinary modern time. The jungle muffles sound. Humidity hangs in the air. Bird calls echo through trees surrounding ancient plazas. And towering pyramids rise unexpectedly from the vegetation, like fragments of another age still sleeping beneath the earth. The experience can feel dreamlike, as though the boundary between present and past becomes thinner inside these places. Perhaps this feeling emerges because the Maya world reminds humans of something easy to forget in modern life. Civilizations are temporary. Technology changes rapidly. Empires rise and fall. Languages evolve. Entire societies transform across centuries. And yet, certain human experiences remain astonishingly constant. Wonder beneath the stars, fear of death, love for family, curiosity about the universe, the search for beauty and meaning. Ancient civilizations feel distant, yet emotionally familiar at the same time, because human consciousness itself has changed far less than human technology. The Maya also remind people how deeply connected humanity once felt to natural cycles. Rainfall mattered. Seasonal timing mattered. The sky mattered. Darkness mattered. The movement of Venus mattered. The jungle itself shaped spiritual imagination. Modern societies often separate human life from nature through artificial environments and constant technology. But ancient civilizations lived much closer to environmental rhythms. The earth itself became part of religious and emotional life. Perhaps this closeness intensified awareness of mystery. Even the Maya understanding of time feels strangely calming when viewed from a distance. Modern life often treats time as pressure, schedules, deadlines, urgency, constant acceleration. But the Maya saw time through recurring cycles, seasons returning, celestial movement repeating, life emerging, fading, and emerging again. The cosmos moving rhythmically overhead, regardless of individual human struggle. There is something peaceful about that perspective, a reminder that human life exists inside larger patterns, continuing beyond any single moment. And perhaps this is why ancient ruins affect people emotionally, because they reveal both impermanence and continuity at the same time. Individual lives disappear, cities fall silent, stone erodes, yet the stars continue moving. The jungle continues growing. Human curiosity continues surviving. Consciousness continues asking questions, generation after generation. The search itself persists. Tonight, somewhere deep beneath rainforest canopy, ancient Maya temples still rest quietly beneath the darkness. Warm rain drifts through trees. Mist settles softly across old stone staircases. Roots wind slowly through abandoned plazas, once filled with ceremony and firelight. Above the jungle, the same stars Maya astronomers once studied continue crossing the heavens exactly as before. Venus still appears before dawn. The Milky Way still stretches across tropical skies. Ancient light still travels silently through space toward the earth. And below, human beings continue sleeping beneath those stars, just as countless generations have done before. Now, the night grows softer, the jungle quieter. Thoughts drift more slowly through the mind. Temple silhouettes fade gently into darkness beneath the trees. Rain falls softly across ancient stone. Insects echo distantly through warm tropical air. The stars continue their endless movement overhead. Slow, silent, unchanging. While here below, the ancient Maya world rests quietly beneath vines, mist, memory, and time, drifting softly beneath the endless night sky.